Hi, how are you? How is life treating you? Welcome to Let's Talk. How's it going? As always, we're gonna try. Sorry, guys, super late, super late, super late. I know, I know. We are late to the party, but we're here. Better late than never, right? Welcome to Let's Talk. How are you? How is your Sunday going? I apologize for being late. Been a day, but we're here. We are here, and we are going to get the show started. Just checking to see, as always, if we're on live. If not, might just have the show alone. But we'll see who's gonna join. I know I'm really late. We had to bring this topic back again tonight, so hopefully, um, you guys can join us. We can have a nice little discussion. As always, welcome. Happy Sunday. Second Sunday? Is it a second Sunday? I think. Sure. So we're just checking to see if we're live. I hope I'm not mute again. Um, All right, guys. Bye, friends. Nobody's here yet. Because everybody has to work tomorrow. Um, Tomorrow's a holiday. You think tomorrow's a holiday, guys? Are we live? Oh, I apologize if you guys hear any noise. My neighbors are having a party. Tonight we're gonna cover this topic. Just want to make sure we tap a little deeper because where we left off last night, I'm not sure if that's a good spot to leave. So, so let's do it. Let me invite everybody up. So that- I just saw myself on there, so I think we are live. So, oh shoot, it's everywhere. I know you guys have so much to do. Um, got two people watching. Hi guys, how are you? Just checking. We're about to join and get started really quick. Let me actually pin the link for you guys. So we got Libra watching. Hey Libra, how are you? Shout out to you. Just checking to make sure we're live. I'm so sorry guys, I'm super late today, but we're here. Yeah, I have so much happening today. So, but hey, I figure I can still come because we usually don't get this show started till like 9 o'clock. So here I am. I got back home a little late than I expected to. Yep, we're live on there. I think we're live on YouTube as well. I just checked that, so we are good to go. Yay, invite your friends. Tell your friends to come to the party. Okay? Tell them, tell them girls, tell them boys, tell everybody to come to the party. This when you're watching this thing from your phone, it's really funny how it doesn't really copy the actual words you're saying. So, but tonight I really wanted us to dive a little deeper into this because the stat that we saw yesterday really blew my mind. Even though I knew it was high, but that's just way out of control. So I want us to actually dive a little bit deeper into that. So I'm going to invite everybody. Please, as always, kindly share and invite your friends. We're here to learn. We don't know it all. That's what we're having these shows. These are conversations that we should be having. We should be very, very worried that we're not seeing a lot of us, people that look like us, actually building those strong family. That's a problem. I really have a problem. I remember a few years ago, I had a few friends that said they would love to have mixed children. And for me, that was just, I don't have a problem with that. But I just think, like, if you do that, wouldn't that eliminate people that look like you and I? Maybe eliminate is not the right word, but like, wouldn't that like shorten like who we are? And now it's just so sad to see people like me having to go through like having children and being by themselves. And these children, a lot of them are hurt. A lot of these children, you see them, they're like just angry. It's like, why are you so angry? And sometimes we want to blame society, but we got to look at ourselves and things we're doing. So it is very, 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 very weird um, to see that. But now I'm done sharing everything. So let's jump to it. So last night, let me go back to those notes that I had. Maybe a few minutes. Guys, just give me a few moments. It's really, really sad to, listen to a Black woman or just listen to a woman in general, right? But specifically, the reason I'm focused on Black women is because I'm a Black woman and I'm raising a Black boy and I'm raising a Black girl. And I want them to be able to, um, I want them to be able to, I don't know how to say this, but I want them to be able to look around and see people that are around them that look like them. I want them to know that marriage is normal. Or even if it's not marriage, just having two people working together that looks like them that are working together and getting things done. I want that to be normal, and especially we that are coming from another country. I feel like we come here and we forget our roots. Like even those who are born here also have those roots where you'll see, even if a woman was alone, if I'm not mistaken, if I read correctly and I remember, um, men in the community were willing to fight for her. They were willing to say, hey, that's my nephew. This is my niece, this is, you know, but it's kind of sad that nowadays, even as a single mother, she cannot point to a community within our community to say, hey, you know what? I'll help you raise that boy. I'll help you raise that girl. Let's teach them the right way. It was such a pride thing. If you even saw a male ill treating a young lady, that was a problem back in the days. But now I just feel like we've really, really lost that close unit. And this is why these topics kind of like triggering for me. Like I want to look at it and say, hey, maybe the more we talk about it, maybe it become normal and then we can fix that. But why is it? Why are we so angry? Since the law was passed that women had the right to do X, Y, and Z, or men, had the right to do X, Y, and Z. Even if you go back, if you did back to slavery days, women could like there was no way you would see a black man hitting a woman out on the streets and it just go, like it become a virus thing where you take a picture of it, or you see someone who's struggling as a single mom and it becomes like, oh well, that's your decision, you do that. Where are we heading like with these type of behaviors? Where are we heading? What is happening? These are just some of the things that kind of like cross my mind when I sit and think about it. What happened to us having that community? Even if you walk on the street and you saw a young lady dressed certain way, you dare not say something because why? Who are you to judge? And it's like, why are we losing those roots? Like, what are those costs? I mean, just look at the stat. Like, 38.9% per 1,000 married women in 2016 compared to 34.4% for white and 13.9% for Asian and 33.7% for the rest. Like, this is in America, guys. This is in America. And if you look at the culture nowadays, we are actually misculturing, which means once a person is mixed with black, they become. So we're owning all these stats. Like, what is happening to our community? So tonight, if you're joining me, I really want us to dive deep into this. I want us to talk about it. What's happening? And if you look at it, majority of these divorce are being initiated by women. What are the men doing? Like, what is happening, guys? I am just as shocked. Shocked. So if you read it, the black divorce rate is the highest among the races. 30.8%. 30.8. If you look at the divorce rate of the Hispanic divorce rates, second highest, 18.5. These two groups in the US back then they had the strongest marriage unit. They could be together, they could stay together, they could work out, like they have common goal working. Are we not having common goal anymore? Like, what is happening? Do we just feel like, what, I can do that all by myself, I don't need you? Is that how we're going to be? What's going to happen for our children or the ones that are coming? What attitude are they coming with? Like, guys, I really want us to talk about this. Even if I have to do a third show, I really want us to really dive into it. It's very, very nerve-wracking knowing that, yeah, there are a few people who are still together, but even if you look at it, right, there's people who've been married. The average, listen, the average marriage lasts for 5 years within the African community, Black in general. I'm not talking about just Black African or, African American. Just us in general. We would be together for up to, 5, 10 years. We have low expectations of our partners. We used to have expectations. We used to say we are both against the world. I hear this all this time. Working so I'm figuring it out. I have done the work. What is the work are we doing that we're not we can't even keep our families together? I don't even want to talk about the prison rates. I don't even want to talk about how many kids are in trouble. Do we not think about it? Why are we having so much of these now than we used to? I want us to talk about it. It's a thought that you really have to think about. If you have children, I urge you to really think about it. I urge you to really think about it. I really want you to think about it. And if you're someone who's watching tonight and you're thinking about building a family, how do you want that to look like? Is it the America that we all know? Is it a Black America we're living in? I need us to really, really dive deep into it. We need to think about it. Why? Why are we not encouraging building family? Why? Why everything is about, and don't get me wrong, I'm somebody who's I'm very pro education, I'm pro independence, I'm pro. Are we becoming so independent that we're harming ourselves? Let's talk about it. Let's really, 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 really think deep. Anyway, if you're just joining, welcome to Let's Talk with this. I just been rambling. Um, Last time we talked about divorce and who's initiating it, and the show kind of ran a little bit longer. But I really wanted us to look at those statistics that we saw last night, and I want us to look at what we are doing. I mean, I'm a woman. I cannot talk from a man perspective. I can only talk from a female perspective. Um, it's sad when you, especially when you're getting older, when as a woman you're getting older, and especially when you go on the road, people don't want to talk about this reality. It's all about, girl, you can do it all by yourself. You're fine. Yeah, are they going to be there? They're not going to be there. I'm not encouraging anybody to stay in something that is not working for them. But I want you to really think about it. Does it make sense? It's how is that going to help you? You see a mother, the children suffer, the mother suffers. You see somebody dissolve a relationship, and sometimes in most cases it is you should. But if we're not being honest on the divorce paper, we're putting the irreconcilable differences or incompatibility. What is that? It's like, so he didn't know you weren't compatible? So how are we vetting? And I thought about it. I said, maybe the problem is coming from us actually following traditions, where fathers are the one who vet the individuals that you bring home and say, oh, here is the man that I've decided to marry. Oh, here's the woman, mom, here's the woman that I'm deciding to marry. And they look at it and say, because it's different when you're in it, when you're looking at it, it's different, right? It's different when you're in it because you see all glitters until something goes wrong. But if you're not in it, someone else sees better. They give you that information for you to analyze and make consent decisions that will actually affect you. Or are we just living in dreams and not reality? Like, are we not properly, these are just things that are coming to my mind. Like, why? We are one of the most productive people, in my opinion, in the world. We think outside the box. We're very creative. We uh, we know how to get work done. Why can't men and women get along? What is happening? Why is the women? Sometimes I think the men should actually sit and think about these questions. What are we doing? Are we getting comfortable? Are we not recognizing our responsibilities? Are the women taking education too high? What are we doing as people in a Black America or Black Africa when we come to Black um, immigrants? When we come here, no, you don't need him. Do you? Oh, you don't need her. She's not this. She's not that. What happened to molding that person into what they? Why are we not willing to learn from each other? So let me go to the topic. I'm a little I'm a little heated up right now. I'm just looking at the statistics. It really irks me, to be honest. Um, Divorce in general is high. We're also seeing that there are more women than men. We're seeing men that are marrying men. We're seeing women that are marrying women. We have a whole lot happening. I don't even want to jump into that one. That's another topic. But it's like, what do we ever think about it? You know, you will hear a Black girl saying, I'm just starting a business. Have Black America just make you think by you starting a business? That's what's gonna get you there. Is that it? Hmm. Are we doing our due diligence? Why is divorce rate skyrocketing in the Black community? Why? Why is it? Someone's joining. Our co-host is joining. Hey, how are you?
Hello, Fee. How are you this evening?
I'm good.
Why you just running the show alone? I was seeing you alone so solo though.
Yeah, else is in here, but it looks like we might just be two. I just wanted us to dive a little deeper into this
Yes,
topic.
we could. I mean, both of us could continue it
Yeah,
and then see if the others join. But I'm here just, frankly, I'll be here for 30 minutes.
sure. Yeah, that's
Tomorrow
fine.
is work day, so we have to prepare ourselves.
Of course.
Yeah.
Truly, for me, tomorrow's a holiday.
Oh, really? A
But
holiday?
today was so busy. Oh
Yeah,
my God.
and look, tomorrow is. I was talking to my friend in Vancouver. And he told
Mhm.
me tomorrow is a holiday in Vancouver, and somebody said in Winnipeg, there's a holiday also in Winnipeg. There's another state, Manitoba, and where we are, the people is, like they are, I don't know what. Anyway,
Yeah, tomorrow's President's Day.
that's good. Enjoy your
So
holiday there.
thank you. But it's not everybody that's off now.
I know just few people. I mean, especially with the entity you work for, and if you,
Yeah,
but whatever the case. But even those who gonna work, they are gonna get paid for that.
yeah,
Yeah, so let's start the ball rolling again.
yeah. Before you join, I was just kind of like, looking at those stats from last night and just looking at even deeper later on, like today and last night after the show, like it just kind of like bugged my mind, like thinking, like looking at the Black community, especially like if we did back to history, right? The Black community was like this really strong unit, family unit, like nothing could actually come between them. But when segregation, and I'm just looking at America in general, right? When segregation, you know, ended and the Black family was elated and everybody could do everything, it just seemed like the family unit just started to like die, like it is dying even deeper. And when I think about like having a boy and a girl in the US, I just think about like what are they going to look at? What's going to be the norm? So that's why like thinking about this topic, it just kind of like it just make me worried. Like where are we heading? Like what is it going to look like in the next 20 years? Why? You know. So I just think about like I know when we look at it, women are mostly initiating it. But Are we asking ourselves, why are women doing it? Like, what is the men doing? Are they not fulfilling their responsibility? Why? What is happening? Are we not properly vetting each other? Like, are we not having the same common goal? Or if you look at the stat when it comes to like people, the most educated people in the US right now is among the black women. Are we just pushing women to just have degree? And then when they get the degree, what's gonna happen? Because I can tell you a lot of women are getting higher education, but are now having a family life and who to share with, and you end up seeing them just working, and some of them not even working the career that actually they're going for. They're just having these degrees to hang up, and now they're not making the decision to actually have a strong family or like even a relationship to build with. So a lot of women are single and you see them by themselves and they end up buying dog and cat. And no fault to them for doing that. But it's like, who's gonna bury you? What's gonna happen? You know? So that's what, when I think about this and the stat from yesterday, I'm just a little shook by it.
Yeah, I mean, you spoke well. You've said it all. It concerns anyone. Anyone can get concerned about it and talk about it because uh, things of such happening. Uh, it requires lot of information, lot of reason people should show or reasons why they are happening. But I think, like you mentioned in the race, the black race, right?
Mhm.
Why it is among them like that. And so last night was on the statistics of that, talking about it, and it came up, and we said that was the rate from, I think it was from 2018. As of 2018, we said the rate was 30.8%. That is in the black race, and the Hispanic 18.5, and the white rate is about 15.1. And
Right.
he said the Asian divorce rate is lowest amongst other races, which is 12.4. But as we research further, it said black adults have the higher divorce rate and the lowest marriage rate.
Yeah.
So why is this happening? Black adults have the highest divorce rate and the lowest marriage rate. And it said, however, according to research, they also marry at later ages, 32 for men and 31 for women. And these statistics that are coming out, they are not statistics that was just done based on someone's personal feelings. I think it
Right.
was based on information they gathered. Statistics went up in statistics, gathered the information, and they follow it. I think the researcher update a study for a longer period of time before they came up with data analysis of these things. So the photo said black women are the only group among other races with a number of divorces higher than the marriages rate. So why black women marriage rate is so higher as compared to the divorce rate is so high as compared to the marriage rate. So they have seen more divorces are happening in the black among the black women. Black women are the cheering, they are the cheerleader as
Right.
compared to marriage. So more women get divorced in the black race as compared to being married.
Right.
So, and these are the things we want to be, following up on. And further says, okay, in 2018, there were 31 divorces among the black population and 17.3 marriages per 1,000 people.
Wait.
Now, can you imagine?
Woo!
That was 2018 statistics. But we kind of want to see if we can fast track it to 2024, right? So we want to see
Right.
follow track it of 2024, what's happening in 2024. Now,
It hasn't changed.
no, it hasn't changed. It hasn't changed. In fact, it's still, I think it's still up to about the rate now. We're seeing uh, what it's telling us. Yes, it hasn't changed significantly, right? It hasn't changed. So it's still happening. But let's go back on the issue of the why aspect. So the share of ever divorced black women was 38.9% per 1,000 married women in
Hmm.
2016. That was, like we say, people who bring all these statistics, they did extensive research, and
Right.
they got the information, the data, and they pull it up. But I want us to just go to the issue of, you say, on why it happening among the black women when they're prioritizing family values no longer. But why is the church, like you said,
Exactly.
especially in the church.
The church.
And so last night when somebody was saying, look, why people get married and then they go get divorced. So and somebody posted a comment, right? If there's no
Mhm.
proper counseling, it will lead to divorce. I agree too. But nowadays, many people, young people that are growing up, and many of them are getting into marriages or other stuff, they are not thinking about, you know, they don't even listen to the pastor that counsel them. Many of them have their own way, they decide to do their own things. And especially when you get so little cash, you decide to do your own thing and you want to be or live or lose life. So because some of the reason it will continue to happen in the black race. So we cannot entirely shift the blame on the church because these people, like the pastor will say, do what I say, but don't do what I do. The pastor
Right.
will bring the gospel to you to tell you the gospel. This is what you need to do. But then you look at it, you forget about it and decide to do something else. So entirely we cannot blame the church because it was in the same church you went. The pastor counsel you, the pastor preach, the wedding on the wedding ceremony, and he performed the marital vow and all that stuff. 2 3 weeks later, a month later, or a year later, you get divorced. You want to blame the church? Why somebody got divorced? Their personal problem. So I mean, it's happening in the Christian race because we profess to be Christians, many of us. So they will link it as well. People are Christian. The reason why that statistic come out is that because they went in the church to get married. But if the moral marriages were not taking place in the church, were taking place outside the church, as well in the courtroom, it wouldn't have been attributed to the church. But many of them,
Right.
because many marriages nowadays, maybe 85 to 90% of marriages nowadays happen in the church. So people will attribute the divorces to the church because the church is not doing more. But I think the church is not to be blamed entirely in the process of divorces, that are happening in the society. I beg to stop there on the, probably have other things to contribute towards that.
Right. And I agree with you on that. I always say on here, I always think is from it, the root cause is how we're raising individuals. People, you will hear people joke around. There's these funny memes online that people will say, when I was growing up, if we didn't get up on Sunday to go to church, that was a problem. If we didn't have like prayer meetings at home, like we pray as a family, devotion at home, it was a problem. If we didn't say grace over food, that's a problem. Like there was those little value that was put there, right? So if me as a parent or you as a parent is not doing your part of the job that you're supposed to do, why should I blame the pastor? And then also I feel like kids are not really seeing it, like how you talk to each other in a home, how you interact with each other in a home, how you, even if you're not married, let's just put it that way, let's just say you're not married and you're not, let's say you're separated or you guys are just traditionally married and not legally married and you're together, that common respect that you have for each other goes a very long way, or just instilling those little values instead of assuming your kids will know it. And that's another topic that I'm really thinking about talking about here, because I think a lot of parents just assume their children automatically know these things. When you actually should teach them, it's kind of like getting a job, a position that you put on your resume saying that you know how to do it, right? But then you go to another company, they got to teach you how things are done. So that way they can't be like, oh, you said you know how to do it, that's it. You know, figure it out. Because at the end of the day, you can come back and say, no, you did not teach me what to do. So I honestly think if we're blaming the church, we also need to blame the parents or the family that are actually there to support these individuals that are growing up, like you will see a young man, the number one goal, I can promise you, when you were growing up, you couldn't wait to be a dad, to be papa. You know, when you play those little cup things, when you're playing with the cups, where you're playing mom and dad, brother, sister, you're like, oh, when I grow up, this is how I would treat my kids. It it's absolutely bizarre to hear any kid say it. Like, they're not going to tell you that anytime, because one, it's not something that's being encouraged. All that's being encouraged is, hey, let's go look for money. Okay, we're gonna go look for this money. Then what are we doing with it? So I also feel like, hi, Mr. Raw. I also feel like by us just taking responsibility and teaching our children why these things are important, I think also the church, going to the church is only there for maybe an hour or two. And the reason I think people are blaming the church is because they are the one that we're looking up to guide us to the right path. But now we got other people that are involved into our lives without us teaching these children and letting them know, hey, this is the value, this is what life is about, this is what. But we also have another people to face as well. We have society, we have society to face that is actually going to be telling us this is how life is. The schools are guiding the kids, but I also believe that doesn't that shouldn't even stop you from actually doing what you're supposed to do as a parent in general. And I feel like we always, as this new society, we're always looking for someone to blame. We're always looking for somewhere to put our problems, instead of actually sitting and saying, hey, you know what, maybe there's something that I could do. Maybe I could look for some help somewhere to help me guide my kids. Your kids might come home and say, hey, you know what, I am not I'm not doing this. I remember I was talking to a colleague of mine at work, and she was telling me, she said, you know what, I believe my daughter came home today, and basically she was saying she told her daughter to do certain things, and then her daughter said that, the school taught her a different way, and that's what she's doing. She said, no, this is my house. I am your mother. I am put here to guide you. Whatever the school is teaching you is different, but I think it's time for family to really stand strong and start to instill the value into their kids, because as we get older, it's going to get even harder because the other day I was just thinking about it. A lot of men and women from the age of 36 and under are not even thinking about it. All you ask them to do, hey, I just, when I get older, I want to build a company and make more money. Okay, you make more money. What are you going to do with the money? They can tell you travel. Okay, you travel the world. Now you're going to turn 65. Okay, I'm going to go to I'm going to, if I can't make it, my money, you guys can put me in a nursing home, or I pay somebody to come and take care of me. I mean, is that the life we want to live? Like, seriously, what happened to us having those time where when you're older, having that companionship, having that someone, that you can say, I love to watch the black movies, that talks about the black back in the days. And I'm not saying like back in the days were perfect, that people were doing everything right. No, there was a lot of wrong things. But now that we know better, shouldn't we have a unit that is so strong that even society cannot tell us what we can do with having family? You see, every time, I remember when I found out having a boy, I cried so hard for a week. I was depressed. Why? Because I thought about the world that we're living in, and the US, the Western world, black boys and the consequences that comes with it. As much as he may try to be the best person, as much as I might be, there's always that all that would be against him. One, he's not, he's a black boy, and he has to outperform his counterpartner, you know. So when I find out I was having a boy, I was really, really depressed. I was worried how Black America looked. And it's not just that he's going to be, like targeted because I know I'm going to train him and teach him the right way. But just the fact that he's going to see other things and where he's going to end up, it just is worrisome. So I just think about it as like, even if you're not, I know we're talking about divorce, but even if you're not legally married, we're traditionally married. People you will see they stay together for 11 years. And then once the kids grow, they're gone a separate way. And it's like, this is when you're actually supposed to start building life and enjoying the rest of your life on earth, you know? So I'm just gonna let you go ahead and share a little bit more on that. But I just feel like there's more to this, and we as Black people, we really need to sit and reflect. We need to really think about it. How is the next generation going to be? If it's like this, what's going to happen? Are there even going to be families? You know, it's so worrisome, to think about it and just see those stats. You're mute. You're muted.
Yeah, sorry. Like we were going on the issue of the statistics. Like we were talking
Yeah,
about statistics on this thing. That the thing is, how does race impact marriage and divorce?
right,
Now, our focus is on the black race, but in doing on the black race, we want to do a comparative analysis from the black race and other races too as well. And
right,
we will understand is the impact it has. We know it has some negative impact, but the black race is leading by 30, let's say 31, approximately 31%. And the Hispanic, we origin, without origin from America too, and they say 18.5, and the white American 15.1, and the Asian Americans are 12.4%. Now, but the black American has a higher percentage in that. So if you look at the white race versus the black race, you will notice that is the black race is 50% more divorce cases as compared to the red white race. If you look at the Asian American, the black race is about maybe 60% more of what, and the Americans, the Hispanic, it will be maybe around 40% more of what happens. But there's something they talk about in this episode or in this challenge about the divorce of issues. They talk about ethnicity is one of the notable predators of divorce. Now, what is ethnicity? It have to do with your connection, your background, your cultural affiliation, where you come from, where you live, your tribal affiliation, your cultural values, and your connection, your root. And it says here, for instance, the Asian American have traditionally shown that the lowest divorce rate, which is shown here. Hispanic American, the Caucasian, the finally Black American divorce are the highest rate compared to any other ethnicity in the U.S. So why is the Black American divorce rate is so high? And we want to attribute to the church, especially in the church, like we said earlier. No, why should we continue to go in the church? But I think young people nowadays that are coming up, the term to disregard what the Bible says. Because the Bible also is against divorce. But again, nobody pastor going to tie you into a marriage and say, look, because you want to be into the marriage and you will leave in a marriage, when that marriage, instead of that marriage, your partner protecting you, your partner is abusing you. So many of the black women, some of them, they don't want to stay in a relationship that is so abusive. You don't want to stay in a relationship that is so abusive, that is so violent. So and most divorce cases come about based on the violence that being perpetrated against one partner. In many cases, the women are likely to be the victims when it comes to the different divorce cases. But why the black race? We notice that many black people, they are violently, operating. They get into things violently. They don't approach things the way they want to approach it, but they always approach it violently. Some
right,
men, some men, especially when they take over drugs, when they are under the influence of drugs, When they are into activities, they don't want to be questioned by the women or the men. Nobody want to be questioned by somebody. So when violence enters the man's head and he's being controlled by drugs, you see, when you take in drugs, it controls your movement, it controls your activities, it controls your mind.
Mm-hmm.
So once those things, what it tells you to do is what you're going to do. So nobody want to stay in a relationship that is hurting them, that is abusive. I can't talk about think about it when we say in the church. Like I said earlier, many of us will agree that, well, many of the marriages take place in the church. And because why? We profess to be Christians. But are we really Christians? Are we? Or we
There you
just
go.
barely need Christians?
Right.
So for me, I want us. I don't want us to take the church, the religion outside, because we are our own problem as people. So the pastor go and perform his duty, he has married her up. So what is happening in the home, even the pastor doesn't know about it once we don't carry it to his attention. But when we carry it to his attention and he try to advise us not to do them, somebody will get agitated and feel somebody who want to be in total control, who want to be in control and say, look, I don't want a relationship, and the pastor will not tie you into a relationship, even though he married you up, but he wouldn't tie you into a relationship. So when it comes to the issue of the black race, it's on an increase, it's on a rise. But there are factors into that. There are factors into that cause this one. Someone said another study by researcher Paul and the next you found that a woman's parent divorce, her chances of getting divorced increase by 69%. So
Yeah.
someone saying once your parent had earlier divorced, your chances of getting divorced increased by 69%. You see, so
Wow.
you see, these are some of the statistics people come up with. Because when you were in a family, like we talk about ethnicity, right? Maybe you come from a family, you come from a race, a particular culture, and the divorce rate is high in your family, your mother divorced before, and maybe your sister divorced. And your chances of divorcing, he said, it reaches says it is 69%. Is what it tells us.
Wow.
So
That's
that's something that we made on
quite
person.
that's quite scary.
It's
But
kept
then I would just say, right, some of the and this is where I want men to really own responsibilities, right? Because if the women are always filing for divorce, what are the men doing? What were the men doing before that this wasn't happening? And I just want to give you a little information that I got. Mostly economic factors. Most of the men are very, I don't want to use any words that are not like encouraging, but I would just say lazy. They don't want to work. Hi, River Says Pro, welcome to the show. Why, most of the men don't want to work. Economic, the women are the one working, the more. They're making more money. Their educational status is growing, and men are falling behind. If you actually look at another peer review statistic, which I probably saw that a few months ago, the men are reading at a fourth grade level in the US. That's sad. Someone who's college graduate or high school graduate, let's just take it the high school graduate is reading at a is reading at a fourth grade level. That is sad. That means we're not educating the men, we're pushing women behind. And the more women are becoming more educated, they're getting these higher paying jobs. And if you look at the average pay for black men in the US right now, is between the it's anywhere from 36 to 40 some 42%, 42,000 dollars a year, while the women falls a little bit higher than that. So when a woman look at that and you're making that amount and she start to make more, she feels like you're not on her level.
and just before you go further, there's an information
Yeah.
that I get before Mina says the
Mhm.
most traditional opinion on connection between divorce, race,
Mhm.
and occupation is that low paid jobs create more friction
Yes.
and financial instability leading to
Yeah.
divorce. And
Yes.
it's just what you say. I just try to carry on the connection there. It's just what you say. It further went down and says money doesn't even necessarily determine whether people get divorced, but it says sometimes an occupation atmosphere also impacts a married couple's relationship,
Yeah.
ultimately making some call it quit.
Yeah.
So and when I start as an example, when you conclude, I will start some of the occupation they mentioned that had high divorce rate, some of the occupations.
Yeah, like they're reading, and thank you for adding that there. Seriously. And that's something for, I feel like men, back there, I think when the men was around, they were teaching that, hey, you got to make more, you got to work harder. You got to make this amount to support your family. You got to be there. But then now, mom has to work 3 to 4 jobs.
Yeah,
And
because
then,
the woman will not want to sit there and hear,
right,
and the gentleman says home does nothing, like we said, stay home father does nothing, and the woman is making all of the money, so she will get influence everything in the home. She gonna do
exactly.
it, and at the end of this, say, oh no, I think I need to quit this relationship because
Right.
it's not helping me. I'm putting more time into it. I'm putting more resources into this, and this dude is not doing similar thing to me. He's not contributing anything. So 80% of what is happening of our household income is being raised by me, and he's raising less than 20% of that. So why I continue to be with a kind of relationship? I can do everything by myself already. So why can I continue to do everything by myself instead of having a man in my life?
Right. So, I mean, that's just kind of like, crazy, right? It's kind of like, and River says, Pearl just asked a question. He said, if the men aren't, and that's why we are here. That's what we're talking about divorce, because the men are not being the breadwinner anymore. The women are actually the breadwinner in majority of the homes in the Western society, because the men want to do the minimum jobs, do the minimum work, but still have that status. And that's where in the Black community, the women are fell off, and they decide and be like, you know what? No, I'm not going to be working. You expect me to still be the submissive one, but you're not doing what you're supposed to do to support the family. So no, I'm not going to do that.
So let me just contribute to what you just said, relating to reverses pro information. I just want to come to the ladder. You already answered the issue. You talk about don't education, high pay, move up the ladder. You don't now. If you get a high pay job, if you are educated, you're gonna get a high pay job. But some men are complacent. And she's making an example of someone who can barely read, like a faithful fourth grade student. And you say you're a high school graduate and you can barely read, like a fourth grade student. So you far below the belt. So you wouldn't elevate yourself to the ladder. You won't climb the ladder financially. You won't climb the ladder and academically. So professionally, you will be down and you'll be doing a low paid job while the woman is educated. She's doing a high paid job. And at the end of the day, she's like, look, Riverside Pro, I can no longer continue this relationship. This man in the home is supposed to be the breadwinner, but I no longer the breadwinner. I am the breadwinner. I'm doing everything in the house. So why do I need a man? So she will say to hell, let me put in for divorce because I am in the home with this guy and I'm doing everything, for the home. Then why must I have a man? Should I just have a man because it's all, to bear his name, I get a husband? So many women, especially our blacks, we go before you go for a fee.
Yeah.
The statistic says there are 10 occupations with the highest divorce rate. They talk about gaming, people who play the gaming, casino, the casino
Yeah.
millions.
That's
They said,
risky.
yeah, they are 52.9%. Bartenders, those who sit behind the bartenders, they're in a particular occupation. Divorces are 52.7%. Flat attendants, which is obvious. Some people on the flat 24 hours. They can
Right.
barely even reach to their houses. They come to the flight, next day they fly in, they go 3 to 4 countries before they even come. So now they sleep to their house once a week. So no partner will want to continue to take that. So they are 50%. 0.5. Gaming services worker 50.3. Rolling machine settler 50.1. Search board operators for because those people those things they are job on call. You have to be there every day. So like someone
Not even just that. Not even just that. They're getting paid minimum wage. I'm telling you that.
yeah,
And
you see
living
there?
cost is increasing.
Yeah.
So what are you doing to work an extra job to support the family? You don't want to. You just want to do the bare minimum because she's bringing it in and you're living comfortably. And this woman is thinking, no, we want our kids to go to college. That's why I said the men need to really think about it. Why is it happening among the women more than the men? Why? These are some of the reasons.
Okay, so you see, it brings us back to what we were discussing last night. It's a historically black Protestants, 19% divorce in the U.S. That's in Protestant churches. The black Protestant
Wow.
churches that we talk about, where we have the Methodists, the other churches, the black Protestant churches, or somebody will say, okay, it's 19. The evangelical church
Oh yeah.
is 14%. So 19 plus 14 alone have gone up to 33%.
It's growing.
It's growing. Then Jehovah Witnesses profess to be Christian. They are Christians. It's 12%. So you add a 12% there, so 33%, you go to 45%. You add a million Protestant, a 12%, you go to what? 57%. So Orthodox Christian, 9. You add the Orthodox Christian there, it going to 57 plus 9 is give you 66%. So the other people like the Mormon 7%, Hindu. So those who Christianity alone, Christianity, the Hindu and the Muslim, the Hindu is 5, Muslim is 8%. So Hindu and Muslim, Mormon, I mean Mormon considers them will be Christian too, but they are Mormon. But if you put the entire statistics together, the Christian rates, the church. But should we entirely draw the conclusion on the church that the church is not doing more?
I honestly think um the church could do a little bit better. I think right now, most of the churches, like I always say, they're motivational speakers. They're here to tell you you can do it. You just got to do a little bit better. They're preaching prosperity. They're not really teaching you. Like when I was growing up, when I look at church, it's like we went there to learn. Things like about the Bible, the way of life, how to operate in this world. We used to talk about how this world is not our home. We're not to be too comfortable. We're to work, we're to look a little bit different than the world. So if I'm in the church and I don't look that different and my saving habit is like somebody who live on the other end, my kids, you can't even tell the difference from my kids from someone who quote unquote is in the world, like what are you teaching me? What am I coming here every day, every Sunday for? Like what value, if I come to church today, what am I going to learn differently than what you told me yesterday? Are we all just going in limbo just to make everybody feel better, or are we here to tell the hard truth for people to really sit and look at what happened to the rest of the week? Like who's in the church who's going to follow up to check on the
Yeah, but
saints?
but, but Fee, like I said, I don't want to entirely look at the church. The church have to do more. It is true that the church
Right.
have to do more, but the church cannot do more than what they can do.
So you
Because
you you honestly believe the church is doing more than what they're supposed to at this moment?
because you will not coerce a person not to divorce. You
No, no,
advise
no.
a
I'm not
person.
saying
Yeah,
coerce them, right?
yeah,
I think someone said last night that maybe instead of doing counseling for 1 month, do it longer than that.
yeah. Many times,
From
like,
the
like the
moment you
other
got
churches,
engaged.
they will start counseling for 3 months, 6 months. They will cancel you. If I check what
Right.
counsel, they cannot
I
go there
also
and
think
even
like
divorce.
they don't have people in the church that are example, like those model citizens. I remember a few years ago, in order for you to join the army in the US, right? They used to consider you gotta look at yourself as a model citizen, which means there are rules and regulation and things to follow, right? So if I'm deciding to get married in the church, that's something like me. It's like someone who's married, you should pair me with them as the young lady that decided to get married, someone who's a model citizen in the church. Even though nobody's perfect, but someone who can say, my daughter, this is her. Why did the Bible say let the older women teach the younger women that way? Do you really think that's happening these days? No.
Well, it depends the kind of church. It depends which church, And like back home, my church, what we do there is like we used to get the young adults, the young children from most from 20, going up, and they go join the women group, go to the women, let your mothers teach you, be part of the women crew. Not you are not. We know you are youth, but we want to teach you, how to be a good mother tomorrow, how to be a good wife. So they were trying to model them, and they say, look, this is why you need to do this, why you need to do. But that is the role of the church to do that. The church should also help the young children growing up. They say, look, you need to use this person as your role model so that you can be able to follow the first and full step. Because if I'm using somebody as my role model, everything of that person, I need to copy that person. Some people say, oh, I'm using John as my role model, but what John is doing, they are not doing what John is doing, or what John has done, they are not doing it. So yes, like I said, the church cannot do more than what it can do, but it's one of the key responsibilities of the church to model the children, pair them with somebody, say, hello, this person has been married for 25 years. And I think when you go close to the person going to nurture you, the person going to teach you about life, because everything into marriage is not bread and butter. It have its own pitfalls, it have its own disadvantages into it too. Even though some advantages are there, but it have its own challenges. So in order
Right.
for you to be able to be successful in your marriage, follow these people, because we have followed that track record. They have been married for this number of years. So it will be good for you. But again, the church will say that, but the individual, the couple involved in that particular, are they willing to continue? Are they willing, even though the pastor have dedicated somebody to them, use the people as an example, as your walking stool, so tomorrow they can be able to guide you in the process. And at the end of the day, you don't go to them for pieces of advice. You do your own thing because you feel you have arrived at certain socially, politically, academically, or whatever way you feel you are arrived. No, that wouldn't be fair to the church.
Right.
The
I
church has its
understand
role.
that. Yeah, I understand that. And I think that's a good point. But also, I just feel like, especially those who are not coming from a very structured family, those who are in the church, I'm gonna rest the church kids a little bit. Let's go to what River says Pro says, right?
Yes, I wanted to
He
come
said,
up.
will you abandon your career or passion as a flat crew just to satisfy your husband? What if you put in more work, more education, time, and effort in reaching that career goal? And this is where I think when you're deciding to find that partner, there should be people guiding you in that process, right? I believe like your mother, and if you don't have a mother, like back in the days, there's always that mother figure somewhere in the community that you look up to, but don't know that that person don't know that those are those things you're watching, right? And also things where we young lady and young men are having these issues is because we're not seeking knowledge from the elders. We're not calling our fathers to be part of this vetting process where it's like, this is the man that I want to be with, or an older brother or older uncle, like those really good model people in your family that can vouch for you and know they want the entire best for you, to be part of the process where when you decide and say, hey, I want to get married, and this is the suitor that's interested in me, and I'm bringing him to you because I want him to talk to you. And I feel like that's what these young men back in the days knew, that hey, I can't mess with her. She comes from a family where people care about her, people want to protect her, so I need to make sure I am on the best behavior possible, how I'm treated. And then those family were also involved in getting to know where you're coming from. What family were you coming from? Who are these? But nowadays, we're making those decisions on our own. And I think that's where we're messing up. Even though you can make that decision on your own, but there should be always dad. And if dad is not available, there should be an older brother that should be able to stand up and say, hey, you're the one interested in my sister or my niece or my cousin or whosoever. What is it? How are you going to protect her? What job are you doing? And back in the days, these are fun video that people do, kind of like, oh, intimidating the person, but they're not. They're trying to find the best for that lady, because you're supposed to be able to provide for me. If I'm coming to be with you, you should be able to protect me. And something I noticed these days, the young men, they don't even care about your security.
Oh,
They would just dash you anywhere, and I don't blame them because there's nobody who's actually protecting them. Like I remember a friend of mine was telling me, she said, "Man, when we were little, before my parents go to bed, my dad would make sure he check every door, windows, make sure everybody's asleep and safe. Go and check some home. Kids are, all over the place.
yeah, but
Dad snoring
even me,
somewhere.
even me, back
Yeah,
home when I was there, right? I mean, I wouldn't trust it entirely with the kids and say, look, you go and go lock the door. When you say you lock the door, I'll say, okay, I will be sure I'll go outside, make sure the doors are locked, back and front are locked. Be sure that they are locked. And now I'm telling you to see whether you're home or
yeah.
you
River says,
right.
"Pro, you can come on. The link is
But
in the intro."
I just want you to be sure that I just want to be sure convinced that the doors are locked because
Yeah.
that's the role you're playing to. But I want to go before he's coming on show. Is I mean that's good.
Hmm.
He's coming on, but I just want to say here, right,
Hmm.
right straight up. Yeah. We no one is saying you should abandon your career or your passion as a flight crew because you want to certify your sports. No, that's not what we're saying here.
Right.
The statistics just showing these people why these things are happening. Why someone get low pay, fine, someone get high pay, or why it depends. But even you put in the more education, time and effort in reaching your career goal, that's a brilliant idea too. But the statistics is showing that these people are contributing to divorces because of the kind of job they do. Because you cannot be doing the kind of a job and you sleep home at once. So
Right.
you get 4 weeks in a month and you just sleep home once a week. You tell me, how do you expect a marriage to work? Or you will say, oh, the husband or the wife should understand that you're working. You see, these are some of the challenges we talk about in marriages. That also talks impact divorce. Okay, so it's not what we are saying. Reverse pro. That's not what we're saying. What we're saying is just want to be sure to
Is he
these
on?
things are happening in a society. Okay, we're not
Right.
saying you should abandon it, but this is one of the things that's contributing to it.
Sorry, guys. My big nose showing there.
Yeah, you showing my own to my own portrait too. And we're not even gonna go for some people tonight because it's 10:15. We're not gonna go for some of you. Yeah, for 30 minutes. So in the next 15 minutes, I'll be getting out
Oh
of it.
my God, baby.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we're not gonna
Therefore,
go
I
for
came
anybody
into
who
that.
did come on there, even though they said they have meeting somewhere. Yeah, for that.
Easy, ready to know. There you go. I even know so why I don't know anything yet. Since they face this thing, I'm stuck now. But River says Pro, welcome to the show, Jimmy. We just been going at it back and forth. It's been a really nice exchange here. I'm trying to figure out how to make us even, but it looked like I'm
I mean,
doing
what's up?
something
You
wrong.
can't you can't on, man. Don't be Sony oil.
I know, I know. Okay, I keep pressing the wrong thing. I guess I'll leave it there.
No, you can just hold me, click on me, and then you
Hmm.
drag me on the other side and put yourself on the other side. So I will be in the middle, the other man be there. You go.
Like that.
Yeah, you very drag. That means you position. Then I'm in the middle. The late camera is on the other side.
I beg you, let's do that. Let's try to finish by 10:45
No,
latest.
I will leave from here 10:30.
Okay, no worries.
Yeah.
But yeah, so we've just been covering, and Riverses Pro really have been assisting us here with some, key questions that he's been asking. Just to answer that question quick to let Jimmy take on. I don't think in this case it's about abandoning your career, your goals and things like that. That's why I think it's very, very important that before you get with someone, they understand what you do for a living and the process and things that goes into that. And that person should also be willing to work with it. If they're not, then that's the decision to make to, you know, decide because this is what comes with the person career, and if that's something that can't work, I think the problem with that, with those type of career, is just that people always assume, or there is a fact that people are conducting themselves into infidelities. They're traveling to different worlds, different places, and they're meeting people, so in their mind, if that person's already dealt with that, they're thinking that, hey, there's maybe this person cheating, maybe there's proof of it also that could also play into that. So I don't think people should abandon their career if they pull everything into it. I think it's just trying to understand the level of trust and things like that that falls into those categories of jobs. And also the job stability and income stability. People think like people that travel, flight attendants make a lot of money. They honestly don't do. They make decent money, but I don't think they make a whole lot of money based on what I've seen. So I rest my kids there, and welcome Jimmy to the show. River says, Pearl, you can join the show if you want to, but we'll be leaving by 10:45. Hey Jimmy, welcome.
Thank you, Fee. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay. Thank you for holding the show. I know I'm in late, so I don't want to just jump in. I
I
don't
was
know the
late.
I don't know the background of River's question, so I wouldn't jump into it until I get the background of his question.
Okay.
Yeah, but on the other side, the skyrocketing of the votes in Black community, I think it's an alarming issue that need to be discussed, you know, and I hope it can even be discussed on a broader platform than this because this is affecting
No, what made you think our platform is not broader? We could expand it. You with you sharing it on your page and other people, people can watch it after here too. So I think don't limit our platform is not broader. It is I think it's a bit broader too. Thank you.
are you allergic to interrupting interrupting people? Yeah.
You guys, let's stay focused, please.
Anyway, um when I use the term broader platform, I'm talking about the both print and screen medias because this is something that is affecting generation because the issue of divorce, it does not affect the the divorce, it does not affect the divorcees.
Before you go further, you just mentioned something about generation, and I thought to just ask so quickly, maybe we'll give you an insight on what you're talking more. Just before we came, the statistics tells us that a lady will get divorced if her parent is 69% chances of likely getting divorced if her parent or her mother have divorced before, according to the statistics. I just thought to add that, so probably you go talk about generation.
Yeah, so when I mention generation, it's affecting the generation. That means those children that are being born to those parents who are divorced, the issue of the upbringing is most of the time weighted on the woman because the woman has more right to the child or to the children. So as a result, the children live with the mother, and if she doesn't get married to another man, then she raised them single-handed, and which most of the time affect the upbringing of the children because when that mother is out working, the children are by themselves, no restriction, and most of the time they become self-reared in most cases, and that have posed a lot of challenges to the nation that they are being, that they are being born in. So I think we relatively discussed some of the issues responsible for those for divorce in the Black community, and we all agreed last night that our parents or those who are parenting, they need to pay more attention to their children, bring them up in a way that they are being prepared to look after their husbands or their wives when they become married. And in doing so, we will need a two parent to be together to raise these children. And the way to do that is people who are getting married should know that and agree that they are getting married and be prepared to face the consequences of of marriage, because marriage comes with a whole lot of things, and if you get married for the wrong reason, the likelihood of putting in divorce is 98% if you get married for the wrong reason. And then if you get married because you are sexually attracted to this person, you know what happened when the attraction fails. So we encourage people, or we encourage young couple, all of us who are single and not married yet, to really read between the lines and have a concrete reason of getting married to this person, because you want to make a lifetime commitment to that person. And don't only look at the good time that you are having right now, but also consider that there will come times when things will get really tough, and you have to be prepared to stand the tough times. And if you are not prepared to stand tough times, as soon as it kicks in, the next thing you what they call it, you want to do is to get out and go for another good time somewhere else. And not and most of the time parents will be selfish. Most parents are selfish. They don't think about the future of those children. They just want to get out because they want to get out, but they don't think about whether, if they divorce, whether there are chances of getting married again, and whether whoever they marry will look after the children just as their mother or their father do. So before you put in for divorce, think about the children that you have had with this man or with this woman, how their future is going to be, how they're going to be without their father, how they're going to be without their mother, what is going to be the relationship between the both of you after the divorce have gone through. So I will stop here for now. I
Okay, Fee. Let me go because I have 5 more minutes. Let me go, and then Brother will come in after when I leave. But Jimmy, are you getting me?
loud and clear.
Okay, but Jimmy made a point, and on the issue of the children, and he stressed a very brilliant point, which I want to also contribute towards too as well. And these are statistics that shows, right? They say, are children of divorce more likely to experience divorce themselves? That's a question we're being asked. And it said it's different studies suggest that children of divorced parents may experience divorce as adults. So just before he came, so it will have that negative impact on the children as they grow up, right? Because if you grew up in a home where your mother is separated from your father, both of them on different, you were being raised up by your father with a different mother, or you've been raised up by your mother with a different father. Now that experience is in your life, it traumatizes you as a child. But if you hold on to and you reach up to that level as an adult, you may likely divorce to as well. And that's something we just talked about, right? It's something the studies talks about. And another study said by research report is where he said one follow upon that a woman parents divorce or a change of 69% what we said. So these are things that affect the children. So when people are talking about divorce, oh, I'm married today and I want to get divorced on tomorrow. Now, you should think about the children that you people have in a relationship, in a marriage. Because the study tells us that, well, likely when they grow as adult, they might get divorced too. So don't you think so many cases are all the time divorce left, right, are some of the reasons because the parents also do divorce? No. I grew up in with my mom and pop. The only thing that I knew that my mom and my father, I didn't see anything but divorce from them until my father passed. and follow my mother passed later. They were together. We grew with them as children. Okay, we grew with them as children. So if it happens in your relationship, in your parents, your parent happened to you. So the people who into relationship nowadays, young people who building out your family, look, the best thing for you to do is stay away from that divorce issue because it will get a negative impact on the children. And you don't want your girl child or your son tomorrow to grow up and he or she gets divorced. Don't do that. So I beg to leave because I want to catch a little quick nap, earlier. Yeah. So I can be able to make it on tomorrow. But interestingly, next week, Barry is here. Barry is going to come on the show. He's talking about toxic relationship. But somebody suggested a beautiful topic, and I will share it in the chat room, so we all can be thinking about it before the weekends. That's a beautiful topic. Is suggested one of our follow up, and then so which I will share in the chat room. Then we can be thinking already between 9 to Saturday, so we can be able to discuss it. It's on the same relationship issue, but from another angle. So
Okay.
yeah, I want to thank every one of you for coming, and I hope to see you guys on Saturday. I'll be following the show probably from my corner, but if the sleep doesn't carry me, Jimmy, thank you for
No.
bro. Rosa Pro, my man, I can't be here much, man, but we'll talk again. We'll see. Okay, bye bye.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
All right,
We'll talk.
all
All
right.
right. So River says, Pro, welcome to the show. Let's have you give your point. You've been giving us some really great why does it say you're mute? I want to unmute you. Okay.
Yeah.
Um yeah,
Can you hear me?
welcome. Yeah, we can hear you.
Oh, yeah. Thank you again. Thank you for this great this part two to the divorce thing, divorce topic. It's
Uh-huh.
great. We always have these topics they affect our daily lives, And the brother made a good point too concerning when children from divorced home they got a high ratio of getting divorced themselves.
Right.
Yeah, which is statistic. Yeah, I mean, it's statistically proven. It's not something that he's making up. And you know, um, and don't get me wrong. I see a lot of things. You go to the grocery stores, you see mothers, and I'm not trying to bring my own African American mothers down, but you go to the store, to Walmart, and these children are walking behind them. I'm just giving you an example. These children are walking behind them. They see their mother shoplifting. They take a bottle of cream and put it in the children bag. That child
Yeah.
is watching the mother, and at the end, the child thinks that what the mother is doing is normal in society, and then he or she grows up just like the mother. She start doing it because the mother did it. The mother did not tell the child that this is wrong. It almost like a divorce. But the issue with I was the question about it was just a question I threw out there concerning the career path, guys. So I don't know how much the career, especially the women, with the rise of feminism and females
Right.
that women right, and no man wants to tell a woman you can be a crew, a flight crew. And when I was traveling recently, and not just I travel on two different planes, and I look at the ratio of women flight crew to men, and there were more women. There were more flight attendant. More, and I'm thinking like, I flew on Brussels and United Airline, and then hi, and I'm thinking, and I asked a question. They said, oh, because I saw them getting down to Roberts Field. And they said, "Oh yeah, they got a hotel there, and then the next crew gonna come in." I was sitting there, So, Fee, Ben, I'm thinking like how much of a pressure. I know people say the man, the this and that, but how much of a pressure it put on a man? Your wife is part of a flight crew. Your wife is a sailor, a sailor maybe in the U.S. Army, U.S. Marine, and that anxiety level. You don't know. You're sitting there thinking, and that's a career. You don't want to like I said, the rise of feminism. You don't want to tell the woman, no, babe, you can't be a fly. Everybody like, oh, you try to bring the woman down, and things like that, because that's why she got educated for. That's why she put her effort into. But these are the very things that are causing divorce. When you look at the rate of PTSD, in the army and other things, women go on these duty and their men sitting home. The woman's supposed to be I'm not saying domestic seven. We don't want to use that word in this near age, anymore. But a woman's supposed to be in the home with the children, but she gone on duty somewhere in the Middle East, and the husband is there. He don't know what's happening. He thinking on a lot of things. So much, I watch a lot of these. I'm a realist. I'm a pragmatic. I don't watch movie. I watch a lot of documentary, and I
That's
see,
me too. I
yeah,
love those.
yeah. And I see things that happen on the army bases, woman, with these military on these things, and then she enters, she's married, but then she see this guy who is attractive, on the military base too, and they go on the same training exercise, they are assigned together. You never know what will happen. So that's why I asked that question. If a woman is willing to to make that sacrifice. Say you are a flight attendant, and then you meet this man. He's a career man. He's not one of those stay home dad. Maybe he got a good career. He tell you, babe, don't you think you can kind of like downgrade, something different, so at least we can spend time together. How many women really waiting to to do that to keep their relationship? That's why I read it, man. How often would you see that a woman is willing to downgrade from a flight attendant, from a sailor crew from the ship, and to just to keep her relationship, just to keep her home? How often will we see that, guys?
So that's a great question. And you really got me started dig into my own head to think about what if that was me.
Yep.
And I remember a few years ago, I told my husband I wanted to join the army. He was like, "Are you crazy? Are you crazy?" I said, "No." And I had my reasons why I wanted to do it. And when we looked at it, but I also knew I wanted to be a mom. I didn't want to be an older mom. I wanted to start having kids early. So when we started to talk about that, that was something completely off the table. But
Okay.
just to answer that, right?
Yeah.
I think most of the time women jump into these career for stabilities.
Mm,
They jump into these career because they want to do something stronger.
mm,
Some people that I have seen in those documentaries that I've watched, most of them trying to escape from certain things. And
mm,
they feel like when they get into these paths, is what, and I'm not saying it's everybody, but from what I've watched and some of the interviews, people have gone through a lot and they need a difference into their lives. So they jump into these careers path because they want to make sure that they are stable enough. Some of them have a really bad family upbringing, and this is something to bring them up where they feel strong. So I think it just depend on the woman and it depend on the man that's actually trying to do this. If you really ask, from what I've seen, most women don't want to be in these tough jobs.
okay.
But because our community, the men are not standing up and doing what they're supposed to do, like what our fathers did. You'll see a woman hanging up a light bulb. I will tell you, I was in a relationship where every time
Mhm.
for us to put the curtain up, he'll be like, "Oh, let's pay somebody to do it." And I'm like, and I'm looking at him like, I can jump on the ladder and actually put this up. And I did it. And a lot of women, we don't talk about this these days. A lot of women get tired with that. It's
Yeah.
like, you're a man. I saw my dad doing this. I saw my uncle doing this. Why are you being so lazy? You don't want to do it. So to simply answer your question, I think it's not about a woman being up there. I think if a woman feels stable enough, and if I'm wrong, ladies, you can come in the comment section. I think if a woman feels stable enough and know that she and her partner is on that same path and
Mhm.
she's secure with that income that he's making and he can provide and take care of her, I think most women would rather not work, to be honest. Because if you look at these social posts that goes around when you these dating shows, When you
Mhm.
ask women and say how many percentage of the family household you want to take care of, especially after you have kids, women will tell you, I don't want to be part of that. I want to be able to decide if I want to and not want to work. But we want to be independent at the same time. Are we stable? So simply, if a woman feels stable, I
Mhm.
have seen doctors that quit being quit their profession to be a stay-at-home mother because they feel that their partner will be able to take care of them and keep them stable. So I don't think it's all about the career. It's just about the situation and if it makes sense, in my opinion. Jamie, what do you think? Welcome to the show, Ben Reese.
Thank you. It's been a while.
It has been. Yeah, so Reverse Esper, that's just my take on that one.
Okay, yeah, I mean, Jimmy, yeah, it's a. I just thought on it because there are times that as much as you know, like you said, there are women who will want to downgrade to keep the family together. And I'm looking on the men's side too. As much as we men, we want that job, that dominant job. You want to be the CEO. You don't want to be you don't want to be less. You don't want something, career that is of less important, and the woman is up there because sometimes it's kind of like, I mean, it's cool to. I mean, imagine you got a wife who is a pilot. I mean that's nice, but then, oh yeah, I mean
Ego.
that's a moral boosting thing. But then psychologically, how secure are you? That the woman is next thing she in Ghana, she going to France, she going all over like
Um,
yeah. I think the psychology of age. I mean, I don't know the ratio, I don't know the math, I haven't done the research, but I believe that those are some of the reasons, that those are some of the things that kind
Yeah,
of
but Riverside Pro, you
I
only
would,
favor divorce.
I
Mhm.
record it. You only talking about the woman that fly in France, Brazil, Germany, and all over the place. So how about you, the guy too that is there also?
exactly.
Do you
Yeah,
not think? Do you not
yeah,
think that
but
do
but
you do
yeah,
you not
yeah,
think that a woman too stand the risks of losing you to another woman?
yeah. But the thing is, Jimmy, I think, I mean, in real life, I think a woman will want her husband to have that dominant job. The woman is telling her friend her husband is a
It
pilot.
depends.
What?
Yeah, the status in society. Every woman want their husband to have
Listen,
that status. So,
Not every woman. Women want to
we
be.
live in a generation.
We want to have the title.
huh?
We live in a time where we live in a time where we preach gender equality, and
Mm,
when we preaching those, we should also consider that women now have the right to do the same work that men yes, 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 were entitled to. So
exactly.
um
Yeah,
but
but
a good thing.
that role as a breadwinner now, you don't have to maintain that role. So I think,
But do
But
you
men aren't doing more to maintain that though these
But do you
days.
also know that because that woman is flying that plane, or because she's a air hostess on the plane, you have a lot of opportunity to fly, you know,
After
uh,
party.
you, you know, to fly anywhere on her benefit too.
yeah, but the
I
thing,
just
yeah, go ahead, sis.
I just want to like answer your previous question about women having dominant job in a relationship.
Mhm.
I see that you are more concerned about women being further away from their household,
Good.
being further away from their domestic responsibilities. I feel like
Mhm.
that's what your main concern is.
Mhm.
But to be realistic, for decades, women has been deprived of furthering that dream of chasing a certain career due to society pressure, society expectation.
Mhm.
So it's unfair that a lady who wants to become a pilot or who chooses to become whatsoever she want to do or want to join the military is selfish for her husband or for society to make her feel guilty for like furthering her dreams or choosing her career only because she's expected to be in the home to take care of the family, to take care of the husband. But when a guy leave the house for decades and join the military, go outside or become a pilot is something that is normal. This is the idea that we have been pushing the society that make it seems like women are only kind of like limited to certain career field. And realistically, it's not right. Not at all. But I understand that's just a viewpoint, but we should be very, very rational on certain things, especially when it comes to like career choice and what women should and shouldn't do. That's not something that we should try to like normalize. Everybody has their own opinion. That's a fact. That's okay. But like saying women are solely or best suited has domestic job or being at home, and if a man leave the house is something that we all see as normal. We all normalize that. But when a lady chooses to follow her dreams, choose a career field that we, our society, sees it to be a man job, it's something that we all frown against. We should be real, kind of like rational on both steps.
Yeah,
But
but sis, what if your career choice interfere with your I'm not trying to limit the role of women in society. I know women have done significantly well. I mean, just look
See,
at we
you are
got
muted.
we got a woman vice president, a female vice president in the United States. We had Ellen Johnson to leave the president.
yeah,
So I mean,
Uh,
you
can I
guys
make a
are doing well, but
suggestion?
what? I mean,
Fee,
what
can I
if
make a
it?
suggestion?
Huh? Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, I think I don't know if this was another aspect of the topic for tonight, but I think
We're gonna talk about. I mean, I think it's kind of like she was answering to him, but I think maybe Benry's kind of confused. He was just asking a question, kind
Yeah.
of curious if those role. And if I'm wrong, Reversa's pro, correct me. But I think he was just curious, and some men may think certain way about a certain career path. Is that something that a woman would be willing to, drop her role and say, I'm taking on, right?
Yeah, yeah, just to
yeah.
keep the marriage because we
I
on
mean,
divorce. So,
Right.
I
so
mean,
we
I'm
don't.
basing this off what he said previously about women leaving their household and choosing a career field further away from their primary resident. That was what he said, and
Yeah,
that was kind of like his concern. So I was just kind of like addressing that concern
yeah,
that
you're
he
on
brought
point.
about.
Yeah,
Yeah. Okay.
yeah,
All
yeah,
right.
yeah, yeah, yeah. She's on point because no, I mean, brother Jimmy, yeah, we still on divorce, but we're looking for things that trigger divorce because
Right.
yeah,
Right.
Yeah,
those are some of the things. They got too many. I mean, you guys started with the church. I mean, it's one of the places, and I even raised a question about the ratio of women to men in church now is like 70 to 30. I mean, if I'm not wrong, and
Yeah.
you guys started with what the role of the church, and I even asked why so many, like don't get me wrong again, but you got so many women going in that church, and I bet you like 25 to 30% of the women have expectation. They're not just going there like regular members, seriously they got expectation for a relationship and thing and some of them in marital problem and they go there to hoping that the pastor will do counseling and keep them together. I know you guys started with it, so yeah, we still on track. Well, we're just looking for all
yeah,
those things that trigger divorce because there are so many of things.
Right.
Yesterday we talked about I mean compatibility, infidelity, and there are so many things. You can't even point to one thing. Like everybody situation are different now. Like I work with this one lady coming from Africa, my people. The first time I spoke with this American lady at my work, she and her ex work at the same place. So she just pointed to the guy. She said, "You see the guy over there, Larry? And he was a nice guy." I said, "Yeah." I said, "Who Larry?" She said, "The maintenance dude." I said, "Yeah." She said, "He was my husband for 25 years." I said, "Oh wow, 25 years." She said, "We're not together anymore." I said, "Why?" She said, "I was tired." I'm like, "What? Tired?" Yeah, coming from Africa, I'm like, tired. I mean, imagine my mother. telling my father she tired, or like maybe it was just a cultural thing. I was shocked. I'm like,
I
yeah, is
It
that a
is a
genuine
culture
reason?
shock.
Yeah, it's not a genuine reason. But like I said, people got you won't even believe some reason people divorce. Like the other woman said, the man told her she's not adventurous. She's not like her friend. I mean, she doesn't dress those white party where he got to be in white. She be, every time the man tells her let's go somewhere. Oh no, it let's go to Vegas.
mean,
What a waste of money. So
like people reason for getting divorced doesn't have to make sense to us. It doesn't have to be more justified enough to us. That's their reason, and they know the reason why they do it. They might give it like a short title. They are tired, but we don't know what they mean when they say they are
true,
tired.
true.
We don't
Right,
understand how much they have to take in. We don't understand what pushes them to the point that they just label that struggle or label it as I'm
I agree.
tired. So we cannot kind of like say, oh my God, that's a weak reason or that's like not enough reason. There's certain things that we do not even have to understand or have to like accept, but that's
Hmm.
people reason. They know the reason why they decide to label it that way. They know the reason why they decide to end it that way. But honestly, me personally, I really don't like judge people based on their reason of ending things or starting things. But where my focus is where such issue become a problem in our society that affects how young children are being brainwashed, how society has been like naming or blaming the victims, or how society is kind of like pointing at the victim rather than addressing the issue. That's mostly my type of like concern. But like I get it. Like I understand some of the reason we all just look and just laugh about it. We don't have to like believe it, or it doesn't have to make sense to us, but like that's them. They know the reason why they say that or they walk out of that.
right. So guys, it's a really I really wish we had a lot of time, but we probably need to, because I know everybody probably has to go to work tomorrow. I know Jimmy's looks tired. So Jimmy, I'm gonna let you give a closing statement and then I'll be here. Maybe I'll give you guys about 10 more minutes. We can try to see how we can close this out.
Okay, thank you very much, Fee. I'm really tired.
I
Yeah,
know. I
but
see it.
the issue about career in marriage as it relates to divorce. Look, before you marry somebody, ask them if they don't already have a career. Ask them what would they like to go into for as their career for life. And if they tell you it's piloting or head hostessing or and all of that, i- if you're not comfortable with it, call it a day.
Yeah.
Don't wait for the woman to go to school or for the man to go to school and then start his career. How to call it, get it going. He got a job. He's going up and down, and now you want to reduce them to something that they never planned for. I think you already shot yourself in the leg even before you got married. So that's why it's good to have the conversation, around those kind of things. If the person don't already have a career, ask them in the future, what would you like to go into? You'll have that discussion and then you guys are settled. But on the issue of divorce, you know, even girlfriends are divorced. All right. And I've never seen anybody celebrate divorce.
Oh, I've seen it.
I say
It's happening.
I have never seen someone celebrate a divorce
Do you want me to send you a link?
like the way they celebrate. Yeah, please send me that link. Like the
I
way
will.
like the way they celebrate when they got wedded.
Wedding.
Yeah. So but we are in the last day, no matter how we put it, strange things are happening. And like I said yesterday during our conversation, the process of divorce is too cheap
Yeah.
And that is why, there is too much divorce cases every day. I think, and also, um, the benefits of divorce that is allotted to women most of the time has set is, it is one of the reasons why every small thing women, I call it, the statistics is clear. 9 out of 10 of the divorce cases that go to the court is always the woman that takes the lead, because she wants to get at a man and get, a huge share of what the men have accumulated or what she and the men have worked for. So I think all the society have to go back over some of those things and make it hard for people to divorce, so that we will not be having all these things. And like I said tonight previously in my opening statement, people who plan to get divorced, think about the children that you already have. Think about how they're going to live without both parents. And before you make that decision, think about a generation. Like the statistics say, children who are or read, from a divorced parent are likely to be divorced, or to get divorced in their own, I call it, relationship too. And this is not helping, our generations. Okay, so we encourage young couples who are yet married but in thinking of getting married to look into it really good, know your partner, study your partner, know everything, and be prepared that marriage will not always be honey and sugar. There will come a time that you're gonna have the jollof coming in, you're gonna have the chloroquine, and and everything kicking in. So if you're not ready to take these moments, and sometimes these moments, they only require conversation, a frank conversation. But because pride, one of the causes of divorce is pride,
Egos.
egos. you know People don't want to admit to their wrong, and someone don't want to accept apology. So you have to weigh all these things, you see. And that's why I don't blame people who are taking time to choose their partner, who are taking time to get to know their partner before they get married to them, because marriage should be, a lifetime commitment. That's what it used to be during our parents' time. But now it's a contract that can be broken at any day, any minute, and any time. So, as I leave tonight, I want to encourage all of our viewers on this line: don't make the mistake that others before you have made or are making. Learn from that mistake. Take time, focus on your career. If you're talking to somebody, get to know them, get to know their background. You see, because sometimes we only care to know our partner, but we don't care to know their background.
Yeah.
What was their parenting like? You know, how was their parent? How did their parent live? Are they still? Get some information. Get some information, because you don't want to get into something where there is this genetic trait. You know, uh,
Trauma. Childhood trauma. Not.
Yeah, and then you go get yourself in there, and then the next day, you run to the court and speak the big book. We're not compatible. I told somebody, I say, the day I get married, you go speak that book. I will go to the judge and tell the judge I'm not ready for divorce.
Hey, they can still grant it. That's another thing too.
So you see, and that's why, society got to go back and make it hard for people to, and make it hard for people to divorce. Especially like I said last night, in the churches. The churches are not you know are not preaching much or teaching much on marriage and family.
Yeah.
And that's why a lot of churches are struggling to grow because families are not sticking together. If the husband and the wife used to go to a church when everything was how to call it bread and butter, by the time by the time the jodobo kicks in, either the husband is not going to that church again or the wife is not going to that church again. So you see, our pastors need to look into it now and start focusing on growing family in the church, growing family, how they can help the family stick together. You see, if I could ask my member also pro, I'm not sure he even know. I'm not sure he even know the pastor for the church that his wife goes to.
He does.
Do we in this we go to the same church, but yeah, we
Okay.
go to the same church. So yeah, we in a Lutheran church. So I mean, we're not really overly religious people. We just regular church. I do Sunday school. I do Sunday Bible study once in a while at my church. That's why I like these. I love these kind of topics because I always to related to the biblical thing to real life issue. Yeah, we don't just stick to one church. We got one church not like 5 minutes. Sometimes we don't want to drive, we just walk. You can walk over the summertime. So that's where we go. So yeah.
Yeah. The pastors need to go back and start with this premarital how they call it teaching for young people. You see, I think that's where society need to go back to, because the church used to be a place where when things go wrong in how to call it in government, they run to the church for solution. But now it's no longer like that. It's no longer like that because even the people in the church are worse than the people outside of the church.
Yeah.
So the church have to go back now and start teaching these things in their, or how to call it, to their congregation. Have it's have a session where every weekend you call the young people together and teach them about the importance of family, to teach them about marriage. Let it begin to learn them. They will not learn the school. How to call it? There are things that they will not learn, in high school. There are things that they will not learn in college. So the church will take the responsibility and teach them, especially the family value. Family value, because when people know the family value, when two partner knows the family value, I call it, trust me, they will always stick together because that bond will be created.
Yeah.
Sophie, thank you very much for tonight. My brother Real Pro and those panelists that were here before me, say thank you very much. I hope to see you on next Saturday.
Thank
Thank you
you.
very much.
Appreciate it.
Thank you. Thank
Thank you. Well, guys, Riverside Pro is just you and I. We're
yeah.
gonna try to close it out, but just wanted to go into the question that you had asked
Mm-hmm.
about the ratio of women in churches, how significant it is.
Mm-hmm.
And I'll always go back. I think parents are not being parents.
Okay.
I think if parents were being parents, we will, we might not, I don't want to say there wouldn't be these issues
Mm-hmm.
because those issues will always be there, but I
Yeah.
think we will have some control over it. Because if we look at the Black communities,
Mm-hmm.
back in the days, when you really talk to people who knows about the Black community, I love to talk to those old ladies. They
Yeah.
will tell you back in the days, man, the men protect the women. The women knew their place, and it wasn't nothing about being prejudiced. Like, I don't know where Black women come from saying that Black men used to abuse them. They said no, that wasn't happening. It was the Americas, the society against the Black. Like they were strong together, they could work together. They knew how to make things happen. The
Yeah.
women knew their place, men knew their place. And I understand I'm always here for women's right. I'm a woman myself. I want to be able to have my own rights. But I think we have really forgotten that everybody has a role in life, like your job. Everybody can be the boss. Somebody is a boss over the boss.
Yep.
Someone has to be the one doing the little job, and everybody roles is important. It's not that it's less. Everybody role is important, but I think the number one reason, if you ask me, I think we've forgotten our role. The men don't know their role to protect and to provide. Now the protect has literally gone. The provide, they're trying. They're doing the best they can, you know? And then now the women feel like, okay, now instead of me supporting, I'm here to protect and provide. So when I get to that area, and I don't care what anybody says, women in general, we're short tempered. There might be men that have it, but majority of us women were very short tempers. We're led by our emotions for the most part, and if we can't get what we want in that moment and it doesn't make sense to us, we
Mm.
make decision and later on we regret it. So, you know, I just feel like we need to do more. The men need to really reevaluate themselves, in our black community and try to figure out where did we go wrong? You know, what happened? It used to be us and our women and our kids against the world. Now it's like just men against black women. Black women are, and the sad thing is, right, River says Pro,
Mm.
a lot of black women is very, very, you will see they want black men. It's very few that are getting into relationship with other races, but the majority of black women want black men. But yet we can't get it right to
Why you
keep
think
it
so?
going.
Because I'm thinking on a whole different thing. Why they want black? Why? I mean, why you think so? Why? Okay, let me just ask you. Via, I know we don't have a lot of time. Like
Hmm.
and seriously, I'm black too, and not trying to bring my sisters down, but
Yeah,
you notice a lot of and and look, I've experiences at my job where I got good friends, like real nice friends. They
yeah.
got girls who don't they yes they want a black man, but they prefer the Turkish. They sorry for using that word. Maybe they how they call it the
Bad boys.
bad boys. So that's I mean so that's why asking you why. Maybe it's a maybe other race will not be their kind of how they call it, they call it square. When you're a regular guy, you don't you're not tough enough for them. Yeah, I mean
Right.
it's not all black, but I mean for me I look at it as one of the contributing factors, because in the
Yeah.
21st century now people are cross racial. You got a lot of how they call it interracial marriages and things. I mean, they got white marrying black. I mean, you're right, but I mean, some of the reasons for me could be like maybe they attracted there because of love, but then maybe because of the lifestyle that is swag, certain thing. I don't know. I could be wrong though. That's how I just look at
No,
it.
I think you're kind of like hitting down on the neck though, because and before I started the show, I like to watch like documentaries, and I always like to think about, what's really happening. I will watch the dating shows, to be honest, because I just want to find out like where are the women head, like what are we asking for? And I will tell you, majority of them, you were here when they asked them why did the relationship didn't work. Oh, he was homeless. He didn't want to work, or like he wasn't good in bed. Like just bizarre things like that. And it's like, why are you even, if you consider yourself at a certain level, right?
Mm-hmm.
Let's just play this, right? If you consider yourself like someone who's hardworking, who wants this, and you require so much, why do you end up having children with the person that you just say is homeless? doesn't want this and doesn't want that. And then now you have children by them. And statistically, what women don't understand, you can't do better than the person you have children with. It's the sad truth. A lot of women don't want to come to terms to that. You are not going to do better than the person you born by. You just, and I think if most women understood that,
Mm-hmm.
we will make better decisions. Because if you're saying the guy is Torgish and like he likes to dress, he like all
Yeah,
this gangster type of things, and you fall into it, now you have baby by him, and now you're 35 years old, you're here talking about I want to date someone who's serious, who match my energy. What is that? Like, what does that energy look like? You
exactly.
know? Like, what is that? Is that your energy you're gonna eat? What is your energy? Oh, I've been working on myself. What is the
Yeah,
word? Don't tell me you've been working on yourself. What is it? Like, have you, okay, I went to therapy. I work on being angry. I work on making, decision without thinking through it. I work on, like, those are works that I want to hear about. Not like, oh, I work on myself. Like, you're just talking in riddles to me. Like, I want to hear it. Okay, now you've worked on yourself. What type of man? And then when they start to describe the men, and it's like, you're not gonna get anything better than that, because
exactly.
that's the same men you're describing.
Yep.
Like, you know? So I just feel like, one, a lot of black women in general, and I'm just gonna say we're all adult here. We put sexual energy higher.
Yep.
When you hear a woman, a black woman talk about when he matched my energy, they're focusing on sex.
Yep. True.
Then after that, they think about, okay, can you make money? They
Yep.
want the experience.
Mm-hmm.
They're not thinking about tomorrow. And then when they reach 35, everybody out here is looking for it. Now we're thinking like, okay, how do I get this? you know, I made a mistake. And it was funny. I was watching this other, podcast, and this woman was brave enough. She's 45 years old, have two children, and she think that doesn't limit her on the market to somebody who doesn't have children. And I'm like, you gotta be out of your mind. Who's telling you guys these stuff? Like, so you mean to tell me my daughter or my son should marry a woman that's 45 years old, have two children with two different guys?
Yep.
He should leave a woman that doesn't have any children and says her value is better than that. Is that a good deal?
No.
Like, no, that's not a good deal. So what are you teaching your kids? I remember our parents used to make sure they don't argue in front of us. It's not that argument don't happen in the world, but they don't want you to think that's the reality of life. Because one, you're gonna get older. When you get mature to that age, then they start to explain to you, no, me and your father used to argue, but we don't do it around you. But these days the women just talk loose talk, like we just don't care. Kids will be kids. And then when the kids talk bad, oh, who are you talking to? No, you taught them that. So I just think like all of these are contributing factor to our society, that we in general, meaning like the black man, the black women, we're not, the black man is not really showing love to, and sometimes I'm like, I don't blame the black men sometimes, because our growing up, the men were taught to be tough. Is now the men are like learning, no, you have to be soft. You can learn that. And then another thing we're learning, as some of the black men's learning, you can be soft. They also want men. And it's like, what the, you know, what is happening in our society? It's getting worse and we're not thinking about it right now, but come tomorrow when you and I are 70 years old and sitting and watching, is that something you really want to leave behind? Is that the world we want our children to grow up in? Our daughters thinking like their sexuality is the way to making it high? Like, no, it's not. Your brain is, but if your brain getting you there, what's gonna keep you there? You know? So I just feel like there's a whole lot that needs to be done. We need to figure it out. The men are not being men, the women are not being women. The system put in place for equality is being misrepresented. Women are taking it out of control. Men are also taking it out of control because they're like, you know what? We're living a new day. She has a right to do it, so let her do it. And it's like, yeah, as much as she has a right, you're also supposed to be the man, not the man to be abusive. Never, never, never did I ever heard that back in the days black men were oppressing black women. I never heard that. If anybody have that information, they can share it with me. I only heard that black women and black men were working, even if that man were working on the plantation, he will come home and his food's ready. They will pray together. But these days, none of that is happening. That's why we're not even able to keep our homes because we're so focused on what is being sold to us by society. We have the right. Yeah, we have the right, but where is the right taking us? So that's what I think. Sex is like number one these days. If they say you don't match my energy, and two is money. That's it. That's the only answer I can give you. You're mute. I can't hear you.
When you talk about how people, the respect in the black community back then, way back, we were
Yeah,
not we were not around, but you can tell testament from the older people. Like when
yeah,
you work with a certain language, when you use, you can see the reaction. Then you know that you see if you are working with a 70-year-old person, or you go somewhere and you got a 70-year-old person maybe on appointment, and then certain word you use, he will turn around and look at you because you can tell that that's something he's accustomed to. So, like you say,
yeah,
all these, this generational change. When you talk about when you watch the how they call it, what a lady named Angela Yee. When you listen to
yeah.
some of this thing, those people talk there, a man got to go 3 hours, and all those things, the first thing
Ridiculous.
ridiculous. The first thing comes in, like you said, matching the energy. People talk about sex, that's their first priority. Well, I got a man. I got a man. He got to do this to me. He got to do so. Now in the world, everybody gravitating towards that lifestyle. So all these things are hindering marriages. Encouraging divorce because women talk to each other. They go to the other woman, yeah, man. Man, he had too many men. This, that, the next thing but so much thing,
Yeah,
all those things leading to divorce, So yeah, you're right. Those are some of the issues. And then my last point had to do with I still want to stress on the career thing, fee,
yeah,
because yeah, the career, I know the sister were on here, and it's not like we're trying to marginalize or bring women down, but look, how much I think men now, I think men are feeling insecure with the
yeah.
advances that we've been making. Look, I was watching this just like you are watching. I was watching this one, and as a man, that's the one the CSI crime thing I watched, and it almost took tears from my two promising people. The lady was I think from Detroit. She joined the police.
Hmm.
Upcoming, and the guy too. He was in the police force, and they met. And the girl, she was like, she was nice. The neighborhood like her. People like her in the police force. She had a tough upbringing, and this guy was in the police. Both of them met. Both of them met, and they had a relationship, and they had I think two children. And the next thing, the guy, because of the girl's popularity, and think, she was being assigned with different police officer in the squad, and the guy, for some reason, he developed that jealousy. He told the girl for the girl to quit the police force, So and she said no. And look, it was so sad. The police, both of them didn't show up to work, and then when they want to knock the door, the guy had killed the girl and he killed himself.
It's
That's why I
happening.
stress on this career thing. The career thing, people may overlook it, but look, those are some of the things that are leading to problem in relationships, leading to divorce and other things. So, some of those they had a sad ending, but it just highlights a lot of those things, that a lot of those problems that being I mean, hindering a relationship, causing divorce in the community. It's so those are something for us to talk about. So thank you
It
again.
is.
Yeah, thank you. Though the show was good. We'll continue next week. I don't know whatever topic you got. I will
Yeah.
always be
You can
available.
send us topic too. You know that. You can inbox me topics.
Okay, okay,
Uh,
okay. Yeah, that's what I would do
yeah.
because I'm doing little online social stuff. So yeah, I got a lot of these right. Most of the topic that you guys can bring is something that I'm like, oh, I just came across the divorce,
Yeah.
co-parenting,
I want to talk about co-parenting
yeah,
actually.
yeah,
Um,
yeah.
yeah, but just to go to that point that you just made quickly,
Hmm.
that's another sad thing that I feel like we're out of touch with society, with reality. People just think we are just dreaming in our society. And this is why I like doing topics like this.
Yep.
It's real life, it's happening every day. You might not see it next door, but it's literally happening. People don't watch the news anymore. Hi, LIB sister, how are you? Yeah, people are not watching the news anymore. People are so focused on what is happening, so funny stuff. We're so out of touch. But when they drive over here and they see something happen, that's when everybody, oh my gosh, that's when people wake up. And then after a week, people go right back to, whatever they're doing. And I like doing these topics because I want people to realize that, we're living in a world that literally I can be talking to you right now, River says Pro, and tomorrow morning, God forbid, you might look on my Facebook feeds and be like, oh, that girl is gone.
Yeah, true.
It's crazy. We're living in a world that things are happening. And if we're not waking up and really thinking about it and really talking about these hard questions and, like looking deep into ourselves, like, what are we doing? Why is our community this way? What can we do to contribute to make it, for us to get back, not even back to how it was, but like, like improve ourselves
Something
a little
closer.
bit.
Yeah.
Yeah, like I'm not saying back then was perfect. Absolutely wasn't. We have so many opportunity today. But the number one problem that I don't like is that the fact that our family units are really breaking apart. People have zero respect for themselves. People are not representing their family. Before, just to know, somebody see you somewhere and they're like, is that Mr. Pansy daughter? And you're like, oh my God, why did I represent my dad this way? People don't even think that way anymore. And the kids that are growing up don't even care if somebody was there, oh, that's Felicia's son, or that's Felicia's daughter, that's Rivers' Pro's son, that's his daughter. That name alone carried a weight. And these
Oh,
days, it's just like,
oh yeah,
it's
they
just
don't care.
don't care. I have my rights, and
Yep.
so I can do whatever I want to do. My dad lived his life. I live my life. But you have no idea the name that you bear actually represent you.
Yep.
And you're representing the family as well. And my number one goal, I will always talk about family stuff because I think, and going back to that situation that you just explained, it's not the fact that I think in most cases
Mm-hmm.
the women is, it's not, it's the fact that the men think that once the woman has that role and is
Mm-hmm.
like empowering and making those decisions, some men, not all men, right?
Mm-hmm.
They feel like, she's gonna start controlling me. She's gonna start doing this. And some women do take advantage of those and they
True.
become very disrespectful. I don't think the amount of money you make should change the dynamic of your family. Everybody should always have their role. The men should always try. Just because your wife got a higher paying job doesn't mean that you don't strive to make more, and you making more is not a competition. And I think that's where a lot of people misunderstand the whole high paying job. you know like, it's not a competition, it's
Exactly.
you guys are working as a team.
True.
And once you don't understand that you both are working as a team, That's where the jealousies come in place. That's where you start thinking like that's where the words start being thrown around. Oh, I make more money, but and that's gonna bring me to another point too, where you see families, marriage couple, people that live together that consider themselves married. People
Mhm.
are only contributing 50% of their income to the household, and
True.
they're living like roommates. You're supposed to be married. You're supposed to be working together as a team. But now you're saying, okay, I'll pay half of day, you pay half of day. I might as well get a roommate. Why are you giving me half of your money? I should know how much you make. You should know how much I make. We both should be working, but because we're always securing the bag. So if you enter into a relationship with that mindset, to me, in my opinion, you're already setting up for rainy days. You're creating an escape plan. You already know that, hey, one day this is not gonna work. And to me, I just find that like so crazy that you will trust someone to live with them and have children, but you don't trust them to share income, to contribute to the home. You shouldn't be with that person, in my opinion. That's where you should start thinking, okay, you know what? No. I don't want to be with you. And those type of conversation, I think people should have them more. And I think it will help them decide on the type of partner that they're with. Because if I don't trust you, let's just say me and you got into a relationship, right? And we're getting together and I'm saying, this is how much bill we have, and you're saying, okay, I'll be paying 50% of this. So where is the other money going? Why? Why are you bringing 50%?
True.
No, you should be bringing 100%. I should bringing 100%. And whoever is the strongest at managing the finance should be the one managing it, but you still have access to it. To
True.
me, those are other contributing factor to
Yep.
breakups and divorce.
True.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
that's
I
true.
rest my case.
Yeah. Great point. Great point. You make great point because I think that those are things that happen. I look. I had a friend. Well, I have a friend who told me, look. He told me, look, I don't believe in joint account. I ain't joining my money with no Labrador girl. So
You
he
shouldn't be with her.
yeah, he said he's done. He said, well, I mean, like they do the same 50-50 arrangement because the thing is they got their problem is their conflict always comes about when they gotta send money back home. I think at
That's
first they
another
used to
problem.
yeah, at first they used to do it together, like his family and her family. But then I think like some other people, have extended family, they start chip, they start all kinds of other things. So then as a result, I think they couldn't keep up, and then they had like a little misunderstanding. And then she said, "Well, you deal with your people, I would deal with my people." But first, they coordinated well. They would say, "Let's do this for this." Like Christmas coming, they will all put stuff together. But then when other things, other different people start popping up and other situations started popping up, it brought problems. So I think that's how they had little financial trouble, and then I think they split up their thing, and then they started going to that 50-50, like, okay, I do the rent, you do the cable, and both of us will take care of this and that. Because then I think they allow the people back home, some mother-in-law getting angry about because her daughter not sending her enough money because they think the man is sending money to his people when in reality the two people are coordinating. But then his mother would think that the lady family, they enjoy more from her son. All kinds. These
Right.
different way of
And I
thinking.
think that's a topic that I really want to talk about one day.
Yeah.
It's a little bit sensitive, but I think that's where people, especially we that are from back home, we don't talk about it. I hate to say it. If they continue that way, that relationship not gonna survive.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
I
Yeah.
hate to say it.
Yep.
But one thing, just to that point, I believe, when I came to this country, somebody that I hold very highly and dear to my heart, that have really been a mentor in my life,
Mm-hmm.
sat me down one day and gave me a formula.
Mm-hmm.
and said, let me tell you something. If you're making $50
Mm-hmm.
and you got to pay $25 for your bills,
Mm-hmm.
for living costs, let's say rent, water bill, and things like that, right? And
Mm-hmm.
then you got to take $10 and buy food. At that time I didn't have kids. He was just giving me a formula.
Mm-hmm.
And then you have to pay for gas and things, and then now you're left with $10. And that $10, you take $5 to send it back home every time you get a paycheck, and you're living that way. You guys will stay in a financial hurdle for the rest of your life.
Hmm. Wow.
And I think a lot of people don't think about it because we think, oh, the people back home need it and da da da. No. Because guess what? As you're doing it, you will never ever build wealth to be able to help somebody else in the long run.
True.
You got to learn how to manage money. And I know a lot of people are not going to like this, but it's the truth. If I'm working check to check and I'm sending it to you and I can't save one for my children, and now we're building a family unit and there's emergency, this is why a lot of people, by right, you should have 6 months, 6 months of your rent saved up, that in case one
Mm-hmm.
person lost their job, it's going to take you an average of 6 months to be able to land another job.
Yep.
So what happened? You get evicted. Are you going to call them back home to pay your bills?
Nope.
Now everybody is laughing. Yeah, you are lavishing the money, but nobody knew that you were making certain amount, but you had devoted to send certain amount back home, and you didn't push yourself enough to save up or put the money in something that it will grow. So you know what he told me
Mm-hmm.
when he came to this country? The only person he sent money to was his mother. He cut everybody out. And I can tell you that gentleman, he's living in a $3.6 million home right now. He said they all forgot that he ever didn't do it. And now when he sends them money, they're all happy.
Yep.
Nobody remember that he wasn't doing it before.
Yep.
So that's something that I would say I really would like to talk about that topic because that's another
Yeah, that's
contributing
a yep.
factor.
Yep. Yep. That's another thing, and that's and those things are, I mean, like you said, fee is draining people in this country financially.
Yeah,
Is draining relationship. Uh, yeah, that's
it
that.
is.
You
And
should.
they're not on the same page. And everybody call, oh, I'm working this extra job to
Mhm.
send it back home, but you're taking from the family unit. That's hours you could be spending teaching your kids those foundations.
Yep.
And
Yep.
there's nothing wrong with you doing that. I'm somebody who loves to give. But before you give, you need to make sure you calculate properly,
Look out for yourself in
you
America.
know? Because
You know,
tomorrow your kids are going to be left behind.
and they will hold you responsible. The kids, yeah,
Now your kids are gonna be struggling. We're living in a country where there's good and bad wasting around. So now your kids have to fend on their own because you didn't prepare for them.
yep,
So
true.
that's something that I feel like a lot of us in our African community that travels here, we feel bad. Oh, I want to help. Yeah, you want to, but if you're making $50 today and you send this one and you're left with only $1, how long would it take you to save yourself for you to be financially free to help even multiple people? You know?
You're not. You cannot.
So I think people need to really think about it. All those things are breaking relationship.
Oh yeah, yeah,
It
yeah,
is
yep,
because people are not thinking and they're just doing because they're going by emotions.
yep, yep.
So
Good. Yep.
yeah, it's been a really great show.
Yep.
I know I don't know if you have holidays tomorrow, but I'm off tomorrow. So
Oh
I don't
yeah,
want to keep you too
I
long.
work tomorrow, but I work like second shift, so I go to work like 2 p.m. Central Time.
Oh, okay, that's good.
Yeah, so yeah, it was a great
That's,
show. So yeah, next week I'll always chip in. Usually I'm off on Saturday and Sunday, especially
yeah,
sometimes we work Saturday once in a while, but
yeah,
otherwise, yeah, most topics. I mean, we can discuss it. Like sometimes, like today, I just skipping all those political things. It's too much stress for
Yeah.
time for
See, I'm
politics.
not. I will. A lot of people want me to get on the political show, but I'm not really like good with like Euro politics.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So
Oh
I
yeah.
really try
Don't
to stray
think
away
if
from
you go
that.
there, you will get sucked in. I'm telling you, that's how I used to be. You would get sucked in. I mean, look, I mean, like you would once you get a hang of it, yeah, you get a hang of it. I mean, I mean, you would know because our politics is so one dimensional. You can tell already.
Yeah.
It's like those African movies. Before you even you put it on, you already know that the mother-in-law, somebody, the daughter-in-law cannot have child. You already know. So that's how our politics. I mean, it's easy to kind of like to jump in, but then you get sucked
Yeah.
in with all kinds of nonsense. So yeah, sometimes.
Right. So, but actually, with this show, I'm actually working on something on the behind the scene.
Hmm.
I'm still like praying and putting in works and working on it. But I would really like to do some other part of it, which I want to figure out before I actually tell everybody.
Okay.
But yeah, there's something I'm working on, and I want to bring another segment soon. Like right now, my schedule is really crazy because I work. I have like about 7 clinics that I manage.
Oh wow.
So I'm trying to go to one big hospital so that way my schedule can be a little bit,
Okay.
you know. So
Yeah.
once that schedule it's been approved, I'm just waiting for my schedule. So I will probably have like a day in a week, those are 12-hour shifts.
Oh
So
yeah.
I will have some kind of like time that I can, do some show that will kind of like be during the day,
Okay.
and I can kind of, get to Liberian people
Oh
that
yeah.
are, for the time differences, and then just kind of like conduct. There's something on my mind that I want to do with this show, like another segment of
Okay.
it to kind of add to it that I'm working on.
Okay.
Hopefully, you guys that know people in Liberia, y'all
Hmm.
could, like push a girl to see if I can lend some people to interview. So I'm
Oh yeah.
working on some few things. Once I get the whole logistics together, I will tell you guys. But I have a 3 months plan to see
Okay.
how that's gonna go. I'm just waiting for my schedule. I
Okay.
have few people that actually are topic experts that would be willing to come on this show and kind of like talk about some things that I
Okay.
think will help our Liberian community that are in the US. That I've been working on it behind the scenes. It's just their schedule and my schedule is kind of like conflicting. So once I get my new schedule, I will be able to get them on this show. That way they can kind of like help, because I think they have helped me a lot in a lot of areas of my life that I would love to share with other people if they're interested in the information.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. That'd be a great initiative when you're ready. Let the crew know, and then yeah, I can.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But
we
I
all.
think having those type of show is great for during the day instead of at nighttime.
Yeah, 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 yeah,
Yeah,
yeah,
so that's why I need to get my schedule together.
yeah.
Um But yeah, it's been a great show, guys. Thank you so much for joining. It's always a pleasure having you on here. Thank you for joining us, LIB Sister, Ben Reese, Jamie, Andrew, the rest of the team that are watching, and in the comment section. As always, we're not experts on these topics. We're just bringing topics that are kind of like day to day things that we're going through, and we might not personally experience it, but we know somebody who's experiencing it, and it's better, in my opinion, if we talk about it, we become aware, and we start to think, and we start to change,
True.
or maybe we influence you a little bit, or you influence us.
Yep.
So this, I really wanted us to do a part two of it, because even though we're ending this topic today, it's still in the back of my mind that I have 2 children that I have to worry about, that's watching everything that I'm doing, watching you, watching everybody around the world. And I really want them to live a life in society to contribute, positively. And the best way to do it to me is by talking about these, thinking about it, and changing my attitude towards things.
True.
So,
True.
with that being said, thank you guys so much. I might come live tomorrow since I'm off,
Oh, okay. Yeah.
but it might be during the day.
Oh, okay.
Um, yeah. So, thank you guys so much. Have a great week. I hope you had a great weekend. And until next time, make sure to share the live, encourage someone to watch. I know our shows is very long. Put it on when you're driving to work. It might
Yep.
do you a little thing, too.
Yep. True.
All right. Thank you so
All
much,
right.
Professor Pro.
All right.
Appreciate
Thank
it.
you.
Have a great week.
Oh, you too. Bye.
All right. Bye.
Bye.
Bye, guys.